Okay, real talk. Have you ever been sitting at your desk, staring at your screen, and suddenly thought, wait, is this actually what I wanted? Like, is this it? Because honestly, that moment hits differently when you realize you might have been chasing someone else's dream this whole time.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're starting strong today. I love it. I love it. And the scary thing is, I think almost everyone has had that exact moment, like that quiet panic at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
Exactly. Not even a Monday, a Tuesday. Because Monday, you're still running on weekend energy. Tuesday is when reality sets in. Ha!
That's so true. Okay, welcome everyone. You are listening to the Daily English Conversation Club. I'm Leo.
And I'm Zara. And today, we are talking about something that honestly touches all of us: career goals. What they are, how to figure them out, and what to do when you have absolutely no idea what you want.
Which, and I'll be honest, describes me for a surprisingly long portion of my 20s. So this one is personal.
Same, Leo, same. And before we dive in, we want to hear from you. Seriously, drop a comment right now. Tell us, what is your current career goal? Or if you don't have one yet, tell us what's confusing you. We read every single comment on the Daily English Conversation Club, and we genuinely love hearing your stories. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button and share this episode with a friend who's also figuring out their career path. Okay, let's go.
So, Zara, let's start with something simple. When someone asks you, what are your career goals? What does that actually mean? Like, what are they really asking?
Okay, so this is a question that sounds simple, but is actually kind of deep, right? Because on the surface, it sounds like they're asking, what job do you want? But actually, I think it's bigger than that. I think it's asking, what do you want your working life to feel like? What kind of impact do you want to have? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Yes, and that's the part that nobody really teaches you, you know? Like in school, they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And as a kid, you say, I don't know, a pilot, a doctor, a YouTuber,
A YouTuber?
right? But they never ask you why. They never ask, what do you love about that? What problem do you want to solve? What kind of life do you want to build? And I think that's where a lot of people get lost.
That's such a good point. And I think there's also this pressure, especially from family, from society, to have a respectable goal. Like it has to be a certain type of job, a certain level of salary, a certain title. And sometimes that pressure pushes people to choose goals that look impressive but don't actually make them happy.
Yeah, I've seen that so many times. People go into law or engineering or finance, not because they love it, but because their parents expected it, or because their friends were doing it. And then 10 years later, they're burning out and wondering what went wrong.
And it's not about blaming anyone. Parents want security for their kids. That's love. But I think the conversation around career goals needs to be a little more honest, a little more, what do you want?
So let's break this down. When we talk about career goals, I think there are basically two kinds. There are short-term goals, like what do you want to achieve in the next 1 to 2 years, and then long-term goals, which is the bigger picture. What do you see yourself in 5, 10, 15 years?
Right. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of only thinking about the long term. Like, I want to be a CEO someday. Okay, great. But what are you doing right now to move toward that? What skill are you building this month? What conversation are you having this week?
Exactly. The big dream is important. It gives you direction, but the small steps are what actually move you forward. I read somewhere that goals without action plans are just wishes.
Oh, I love that. Goals without action plans are just wishes. That's actually a really powerful way to put it.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. They have the dream, they have the goal, but they don't break it down. They don't ask, okay, what is the very first thing I can do this week to get closer to this? It doesn't have to be huge, it can be small. Read one article, send one email, watch one tutorial, just move.
And momentum is real, isn't it? Like once you start moving, even slowly, it gets easier. It's the starting that's hard. Getting off the couch of your comfort zone, I like to say.
The couch of your comfort zone. I'm using that.
Royalty free. Take it.
Can I share a story? Because I think this will really land for some of our listeners.
Yes, please.
So, a friend of mine, I'll call her Priya, she spent 5 years working at a big corporate company. Good salary, nice title, everything looked perfect from the outside. But every Sunday evening, she'd get this heavy feeling, this kind of dread about Monday.
Oh no, that Sunday dread is real.
Right? And it wasn't until she had an honest conversation with herself, like a proper sit down in a quiet room and be real with herself, that she admitted she wanted to work in environmental sustainability. That was her actual passion. She cared deeply about climate, about nature, about making a difference in that space. But she'd pushed it down because she didn't think it was practical.
And what happened?
She spent a year quietly building skills on the side. She took an online course on sustainability management. She started volunteering with a local environmental nonprofit on weekends. She reached out to people on LinkedIn in that industry just to learn, not to ask for jobs. And after about 14 months, she got a role at a company doing exactly what she cared about. And it pays less than her corporate job. She's honest about that. But she told me, Leo, I haven't had the Sunday dread in over a year.
That gave me chills, honestly, because it's not about throwing everything away and starting from zero. She did it gradually, carefully, intentionally. That's what's so powerful about that story.
Exactly. And she had a clear goal. She knew what she wanted. She just needed to be honest about it first.
Okay, so here's a question for you, our listener. Think about this for a second. Is your current job or study path something you genuinely chose or something you sort of ended up in? Be honest with yourself. No judgment here. And drop your answer in the comments. We'd really love to know. And while you're there, subscribe to the Daily English Conversation Club if you haven't already, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it today. Okay. So we talked about what career goals are and Priya's amazing story, but I want to get into something a little more, I don't know, vulnerable? Because I think there's a really common but unspoken reason why people don't set clear career goals.
Okay, I'm listening. What's your theory?
Fear of failure. Like, if you never officially commit to a goal, you can never officially fail at it, right? It's almost like keeping your dreams vague is a way of protecting yourself.
Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, that's actually really honest. If you say, I kind of want to become a writer someday, that's safe. But if you say, my goal is to publish a book by the time I'm 35, suddenly there's something to lose. There's a deadline. There's a version of you that could fail.
And that's scary, genuinely scary. But here's the thing. The opposite is also scary. The slow, quiet disappointment of never really trying, of being 50 and thinking, I wonder what would have happened if I'd actually gone for it.
Yeah, and I think most people deep down fear regret more than failure, but they don't realize it until much later.
So the goal, the real goal, is to get clear enough about what you want that the fear of regret becomes stronger than the fear of failure. Does that make sense?
Completely. It's like you need a reason that's bigger than your fear. Let's talk about something practical, because I know some of our listeners are students right now. Maybe they're in university or finishing school, and they're facing this huge question. What should I do with my life? And it feels overwhelming because it feels permanent, like this one decision defines everything.
And I want to say very clearly, it doesn't. Your first job is not your forever job. Your degree doesn't lock you into one path. People change careers all the time. I have a cousin who was an accountant for 8 years and is now a UX designer, completely different field.
And loving it, I assume.
Absolutely loving it. He told me I finally feel like I'm using my brain the way I actually enjoy using it. And he was terrified to make the switch. He thought it was too late. He was 32.
32? That is not too late. That is just Tuesday again, you know?
Right. That's just a regular Tuesday in your career journey. And I think for students especially, the pressure to have it all figured out by graduation is just unrealistic. The real goal at that stage isn't to know everything, it's to start discovering what you like. Try things internships, part time jobs, volunteer work, side projects. Every experience teaches you something about yourself.
Yeah, and even the bad experiences, the jobs you hated, the projects that bored you, those are valuable data points because knowing what you don't want is just as important as knowing what you do want.
Oh, 100%. I spent 6 months doing admin work at a company early in my career, and I was completely miserable. But that experience taught me I absolutely need creativity in my work. I need to make things, I need to communicate. I can't just process paperwork all day.
And that self-knowledge, that understanding of your own needs and preferences, that's actually one of the most valuable career tools you can have. Okay, let's do a quick myth-busting moment because I feel like there are some really common misconceptions about career goals that trip people up.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
Myth number one, you need to have a passion before you can set a career goal.
Reality, passion often comes after you get good at something. You don't always start with passion. Sometimes you build it through experience and skill.
Yes, this is so important. A lot of people wait to find their passion, like it's some hidden treasure out there. But research actually shows that for a lot of people, passion develops through mastery. The better you get at something, the more you enjoy it.
Myth number two, a good career goal means a high-paying job.
Reality, money is important. We're not pretending it's not. But research consistently shows that after a certain income level, more money doesn't make people significantly happier. What matters more is meaning, autonomy, and good relationships with the people you work with.
Myth number three, if you change your career goal, you failed.
Reality, changing your goal means you're growing. It means you know yourself better than you did before. That's not failure, that's wisdom.
Love that. Changing your goal is wisdom. Write that down, everyone.
Okay, so let's get practical. If someone is listening to this and they genuinely don't know what their career goal is, where do they even start?
So I have this exercise that I love. It's called the energy audit, and it's really simple. For 1 week, keep a small notebook or use your phone, and every time you finish a task, whether it's at work, at school, at home, just quickly note, did this give me energy or did it take energy away?
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not about whether you're good at it, it's about how it makes you feel.
Exactly, because sometimes we're good at things that drain us, and sometimes we're not yet great at things that completely light us up. And by the end of the week, you'll have a little map of your energy. The tasks that consistently give you energy, look closely at those. That's where your career interest probably lives.
I really like that. It's simple enough that anyone can do it, but the insight you get from it can be really profound.
And it takes the pressure off, you know? You're not trying to find your passion, you're just noticing your energy. Much more manageable.
All right, here is your challenge for this week. And we're serious. We want you to actually do this. Try the energy audit that Zara just described for just 3 days, not even a full week, just 3 days. Notice what gives you energy and what drains you, and then come back and tell us in the comments what you discovered. We want to hear your results.
Yes, drop it in the comments on the Daily English Conversation Club. And if you're finding value in these conversations, please subscribe and share this episode with a friend or classmate who's trying to figure out their next step. It really does help us keep making content like this. Okay, ready for part 3?
Let's go.
Okay, we've been having this really rich conversation about career goals, and I want to just gently point out a few expressions we've been using because these are super useful in real English, especially if you're ever in a job interview or having a professional conversation.
Oh, yes, good idea. What's the first one?
In the long run. We said this earlier, like, in the long run, I want to be doing work that matters to me. This phrase means over a long period of time when you look at the bigger picture. It's really common in professional English, like, this might be a tough decision now, but in the long run, it's the right move.
Love it. Very natural. Another one I keep using is to be in the right headspace. Like, you need to be in the right headspace to set good goals. This means to be mentally prepared or in a good mental state for something.
That's a great one. Very casual, but very real. And then there's to get your foot in the door, which means to get a small or starting opportunity that allows you to enter a field or company. Like, I took a low-level job just to get my foot in the door at that company.
Ooh, yes. That one is used all the time in career conversations. You might hear it in interviews, like someone saying, I'm looking for any opportunity to get my foot in the door in the tech industry.
Perfect. So we've got in the long run, in the right headspace, and get your foot in the door. Keep those in your English toolkit.
And speaking of language, I want to share a tiny grammar tip that actually connects to today's topic. When we talk about future goals in English, there are a few different ways to do it, and each one sounds a bit different.
Oh, okay. This is useful. Go ahead.
So, if you say, I will become a manager, that sounds very certain and confident, almost like a promise. But if you say, I want to become a manager, it sounds more like a wish or a desire. And then there's, I'm planning to become a manager, which sounds like you've already started taking steps. Or, I'm hoping to become a manager, which is softer, more humble.
So the grammar actually tells people something about where you are in the process.
Exactly. And in an interview, being able to switch between these, using I'm planning to when you've actually started working towards something versus I'm hoping to when it's still a dream, that makes you sound very natural and authentic in English.
I love when grammar is actually useful in real life, because so often people study grammar rules in a vacuum and they're like, when will I ever use this? But that right there, that's something you'd use in a real interview.
100%. And it's not complicated. It's just noticing the small differences.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. We've covered a lot today. We talked about what career goals really are, not just job titles, but the feeling and the impact you want your work to have. We talked about the importance of being honest with yourself, even when it's scary. We talked about Priya's story, the energy audit, short-term versus long-term goals, and busting a few myths.
And I think if there's one central idea, one thing I want people to walk away with today, it's this. Your career is a story, and you are the author. And like any good story, it's going to have plot twists. It's going to have chapters that surprise you, characters you didn't expect, maybe even a full genre change somewhere in the middle.
I love that framing so much.
But the key is that you are holding the pen. Not your parents, not your classmates, not some algorithm telling you what jobs are in demand. You. And setting a career goal, even a small, imperfect goal and changing goal, is how you start writing your own story intentionally.
That's beautiful, Leo, honestly. And I think the message for our listeners is it's okay not to have all the answers right now. You don't need the whole staircase. You just need the first step. And sometimes that first step is just getting honest with yourself, doing that energy on it, having that real conversation with yourself.
And maybe listening to podcasts about it. Just saying.
Hey, that counts as research, okay? Listening to the Daily English Conversation Club is 100% a legitimate step in your career development. I'm standing by that.
And that brings us to our favorite moment, our Real Talk round. We each share one honest, personal thought about today's topic. No polishing, no perfect sentences, just real.
I'll go first. My real talk is I spent 2 years in a career I didn't love because I was too embarrassed to admit I wanted something different. I thought wanting a creative career meant I wasn't serious, and I wasted a lot of time hiding that. So if you're hiding something about what you actually want, please don't wait 2 years like I did.
That's so real. My real talk is, I still don't have everything figured out, and that's okay. I think one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that at a certain age, you should have it all sorted out. But life doesn't work that way. And the people who seem most confident about their careers, they're often just better at being comfortable with uncertainty. That's a skill, and you can practice it.
I love that. Being comfortable with uncertainty is a skill.
Okay, that is a wrap on today's episode of the Daily English Conversation Club. If you made it all the way to the end, first of all, thank you, genuinely. That means a lot to us.
We really do put our hearts into these conversations, and knowing that you're out there listening and learning and growing, it motivates us to keep going. So please, if you found this helpful, drop a comment, hit the subscribe button, and share this with one person in your life who could use a little career conversation today.
And tell us, what is your career goal right now? Big or small, clear or fuzzy? We want to know. Pop it in the comments. We'll be reading every single one.
Next week, we're talking about something a little spicy: how to handle workplace conflicts and difficult conversations in English. Trust me, you do not want to miss that one.
Until then, keep talking, keep learning, and remember, every conversation is a step forward. This is the Daily English Conversation Club. I'm Leo.
And I'm Zara. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.